Well, hello everybody. Sorry that I'm gonna be drawing on a little bit. But I think I've actually decompressed just enough in order to get into the swing of things. But I want to get things rolling just a little bit more. Just kind of give myself some breathing room so I have plenty of fire in the kiln. I probably need to get myself some water after having some supper too, so let me just get a little comfortable. Alright. How's everybody doing so far? It's almost the weekend, everybody. It's almost the weekend. Oh, yay. You never go wrong with free lunacy. Still stockpiling everything for the Walpurgis. I should also start getting my... It's gonna be a pretty hefty amount too, considering both Lucio and Valentina are gonna be in the banner. And we just got our upscale, so that's nice. We just got our upscale. Oh yeah, for Ishmael 2. If you have enough shards, I guess now would be the good time to do it. Now would be the best time to probably do it. If you have Blade Mirror, it is basically just everyone's just into Wilson. Hey, that's more of a reason now. Now that it kind of makes, well, I think it definitely makes Blade Lineage Marceau pretty damn strong. So you really cannot go wrong with that one bit. Alright, let me also see if I can actually... Drink to the Fallen. Let me grab some threads off of this. Now play forward. Yeah, I could borrow. I can borrow from here. 150 of that. 50 of that. I might actually chip in a little bit more so I can get well, I don't have that many nurse fathers too, so that does kind of put a damper on having, well, she is still kind of strong regardless, but I've seen like someone have a team of like nurse father IDs and apprentices and have Blade Merceau too, because of the growing resentment status. So once you pretty much rack up enough damage of your own teammates and fill up that growing resentment, you technically can pretty much turn Blade Merceau into a nuke. So you have 2 nukes at the cost of some other nurse father IDs at that point. Quote unquote legalize nuclear bombs as a team. See, this is why I like this game to a degree. I don't play it as much, but it's fun seeing how people can come up with like different kinds of teams just for very niche purposes. Because yeah, this is win rate this, win rate that, but when you really put it to like a nice little spreadsheet and see who does what and actually pay attention to the different buffs that are playing a part, you're gonna be introduced to something wonderful that comes from it all. Absolutely freaking wonderful. I'm pretty sure there are people that are running teams that still use like 2 stars and still have some sort of viability, especially if it's like for Refraction Railway for some ungodly reason. Because why not? Because why the fuck not? And uses the first time in an encounter consume 15 less SP. If Blade Instrument so uses skill also consume 1 fewer Wrath, Pride, and Envy eco resources. Clash power +1. Drink to the Fallen. I think it's corrosion that gives the growing resentment stuff, right? A resentful yeah, this is the one. Resentful Scabbard. When an ally, including this unit, takes HP damage, gain growing resentment equals the damage taken. And Memoriam passive now ignores conditionals and activates at max potential. When activating Pride of Resonance, applies more play with the homeland. The true. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure this is gonna set a precedent for like how some IDs might get buffed. Just have these like synergy types just be available. Now it's got me thinking a little bit too. How much of Don is gonna. Oh yeah, that would be funny. Watch it just be like the red mane or something like that, and that just pretty much turns Marjo Don Quixote into practically the Sasha that we fought in Kanto 7. Just throw straight hands. Honestly, I like that variation much more than the manager, I'll be honest. No way to making a new Bleed Dawn. True. I mean, we've already kind of sailed past that point, but hey, we never know if Walpurgis actually does throw in a nice little curveball. Let me think. Think Don's getting the wealthy. I mean, the way that things have been going so far, yeah, I'll probably see an ego more or less than an ID. Because last one was Ryoshu and Merceau. So I might be hoping for Rogia somewhere down the line. And since we've already done... Yeah, since we've already done like a Library of Labiman Corporation, next should be a Library of Ruina 1-2. Or it might be like a both sides situation where it might be like Big Bird or any of the birds of the forest. Probably Big Bird for Gregor, if anything. Since he does have Lamp. And just to be like Salvation or something of the sort. Let me think though. Would it be worth? Nah, I don't think it'd be worth. Even though there is like a bit of a buff that comes in the event. Judgment, yeah, I feel like Judgment Bird might be more like later into the game's lifespan, maybe sometime during like Inferno, or if anything during one of the last two contests before we get into Inferno. I left weapon for some reason. JB is definitely one of those abnormalities where it is a must-have, but it is kind of difficult early on, and when you do kind of get back to it, you'll be thankful they haven't left very early on too. I feel like it's the case with like King of Greed as well, where it's just easy to manage, just so long you have like at least a 1 tier 5 that's really specializing in like attachment work. Because you get the Gold Fist, which isn't a left weapon. Press the left sign. Oh my god. How did you actually fared with Silent Orchestra? Did you like find some sort of science? Just gambling. Let's go gambling. Like it's been without fail. Hearing about Silent Orchestra has been. Oh wait, Silent Orchestra, Allure Un, Nameless Fetus, just to name a few, have been like gambling or just straight up suffering.
마침내.
Bloody hell, what's up with these kids? Out of nowhere. How should I know? But judging by the get, they seem like escort fellas. And things were going so well. Could have talked it out with those fedora guys who were rummaging around the place earlier, you know. But no, you just gotta go bargain at them first. Must have a whole lot of trouble you hadn't, right? Oh, so it's my fault. Those bastards look like they were nicking stuff. It's our contract area, ain't it? If they walked off with something important, we'd be the ones catching hell. Listen, bud, not everyone's itching to swipe hair coupons into their pockets the second they get a chance. How many bloody months are you going? Are you liking to milk that? Excuse me? What? Got a problem too, mate? No, not at all. Just wondering whether that gentleman over there is also one of our enemies. Hmm? Ah, is that the end of your true performance? Shame, I was really enjoying watching you folks dance. Might have mistaken this place for the Peach Blossom Land of Legends. Had there been a cup of fine makigoli to go with it. Makigoli. Yeah, that's an enemy, alright. Here's a name tag, though. I think it says, LCD? LCD or whatever. Who gives a toss? I'm supposed to put up with every bastard having a dig at me? Oh dear. Such bold swings. Didn't know there was an encore to that performance. You screwy little rat. Well, I do find this amusing enough, but if you intend to play with me, you gotta be more aware of your surroundings. Hey, behind you! Hey, behind you! There's... Cockroach? Not a cockroach. I mean, there is a cockroach VTuber that exists, but, I'm not. I mean, there's like multiple cockroach VTubers now that I think about it. I know like Matara Khan off the top of my head. There's Kokorochi that I also know about too. But rest assured, I'm not a roach. Oh, he took out all those double-wearing people with just a single strike? I'd say that about covers the price of a minute for your troop circus, wouldn't you? Well then, I leave the rest to you folks. Wonder Boy's Murim tales never linger on the stage after all. Wait, where the hell do you think you're going? Ah, damn it. Just cuts and leave.
쟤네 고기라도 먹은 것처럼 기운이 솟잖아.
Let's deal our damage. I'm going, fuckboy. What's the best poison unit? Oh, that's a very funny question. That's a very good question.
좋아. 얼른 끝내고 밥 먹으러 가자고.
Prisoner transport. Maybe this is very up. Oh. Yeah, I don't have her. Oh wait, let me not run into that issue. You're killing me. Actually, that was good. I mean, you've been kind of like stocking up on your lunacy?
Limbus Company の皆さんとご一緒できて本当に嬉しいです。
32k right now. One that Jesus Christ. Yeah, I think at that point you're Gucci. No ifs, ands, buts about it. Just absolute Gucci. Oh, we got a stag.
깨달음을 얻으셨군요.
핫패스! 모자를 쓰고 있는 혈기에겐 방망이 대신 풍선칼이 정답이에요.
The game seems to be chugging just a little. What?
저기 술에 취한 한량처럼 허둥거리니 승기를 세운다면 지금이겠구나.
Oh boy. I see where this is going. Tremor Season Part 2.
차포잡이라 예상한 것보다 움직임이 더 좋구나.
God.
우와, 지금 완전 삼촌들이랑 고모대 같았어. 아까 방망 맞고 이모시어랑 해보고 괜찮을 되시니까. 머리에 멍이 좀 들었다더라. 그런데 너
Let's finish
진짜 세방망이야?
these guys off.
손방망이에요.
Hey, appreciate the follow. Eric Saiyan King. Welcome.
このまま行けば敵を食い止められます。
Oh no. Oh God, please.
敵は深手を負っています。
Okay, intelligence gathering. Using a skill for tentacle rank to the skill photograph. Oh, so it's a debuff. Oh, that's fun. I think this should be fine. There we go. That's the good stuff.
優れた式ですね。
Bitch.
어릴 땐 몰랐어. 왜 엄마가 삼촌들이랑 말도 못 섞게 했는지.
Oh yeah. This entire time I had this.
강사들
Let me not let this go to
손가락
waste.
안에서도 내로라 하는 실력자들이었을 거야. 너희가 보여준 혹은 더 대단한 기술을 매번 엄마에게 가르쳐줬거든.
Alright, time to party up.
너무 세게 맞은 건 아닙니까?
시원한 스윙! 어디서 스트레스가 저 멀리 날아가는 소리 안 들리나요?
와, 엄청난
Not enough
공격이었어.
to fry his ass.
말만한 걸.
But I should have at least something more to run home with. Say goodbye.
틀림은 없군.
지금처럼 엄마와 함께 이곳저곳을 다니며
So, let me get this straight. Dude was here just a minute ago, and now nobody knows where he wandered off to? Yeah, Bolt just turned up out of nowhere, flapped his gums, and did a runner before anyone else could grab him. As I let out a long, listless sigh as though she was getting sick and tired of even complaining about Kim. Lady Ezra, I cannot say your frustration is misplaced, yet I trust you are also aware that more often than not, Mentor's actions have carried a profound design. He has never left his post without purpose so far. No, I get it, okay, but come on. Would it kill him to give us a head up before he goes zooming off on his own again? It's not like we'd stop him. What are we gonna do? Tie him up? Lock him in a closet? We don't do that in our team, right? Remember last time? We all thought he'd be good patient and sleeping it off in the recovery ward, but nope. When Elsie got infiltrated, he snuck out without telling anyone and came back like nothing happened. The team leader didn't even chew him out for that. Lady Ezra, that's... Oopsie, I wasn't supposed to mention that, was I? Then, the reason he failed to participate in the operation was simply because the LCD was lax in supervising his personnel. Is that what you're suggesting? Lady Moses bade us to hold our tongues for this very reason. She knew full well Mantor's intentions would be misunderstood in precisely such a manner. What part of this have I misunderstood? Did she not just disclose that the man deserted his post without authorization? That's the thing! He wasn't just wandering around, he was just outside, all alone, taking down the ring out of mannequins who walked down the elevator that leads to the LCE department. Yeah, it's not like he was dealing with the strongest enemy out there, but the recovery ward didn't have an emergency alarm, and nobody from the department was there to warn him either. He just, somehow just caught on and just did the job himself. Huh. But it's all thanks to him that the facility team managed to get the comms back in contact with the LCE chief dude way faster. And that helped the LCA to actually deploy. It would have been delayed for another hour or two if he hadn't stepped in, apparently. And he went fighting even though he wasn't fully recovered. So he came back looking like he'd been processed through a meat grinder. So yeah, he did end up staying a bit like a good patient in a lot of pain. And the soldier's not entirely deserving of reproach. Looks like she was looking for an opportunity to choose somebody out. Wanted to be disappointed. Nope. He's less talking, more doing type, I guess. Anyway, we're all stuck inside this building. We're all stuck inside the building back during the incident, so fine. I suppose there's no helping it. They, though, never mind. always like this with him. He always slips away and pops back in saying it's done. My point is, what happens if one day one of the stolen machines goes away? He just drops dead in the street somewhere. How are we supposed to help him then? Actually, how does he even know what's supposed to be done in the first place when nobody gave him any instructions? Well, it's gotta be relying on his gut feeling, innit? Gut feeling. Look, I only saw the book for a bit, so I can't say I haven't figured it all out. He's an annoying bastard, but he didn't strike me once as some clueless sod who doesn't know where he's stepping. Clue scratched his chin, then kept talking as though he was stating an obvious fact. Today's proof enough. He's not one of us, so Clocker could never reach him from that far and send him to back us up. There's no way he just happened to run into us when we were about to get in a battle, innit? Then, well, could be Boss got some stupidly sharp head on him and piece some things together. Could be that. But I got these moments when I get a flash that gut feeling, whatever you want to call it. The boss man, Matthew, said he could hear that kind of shite. Said I can hear them gears turning, or I think I hear rats scurrying about. He'd do things you couldn't make heads or tails of. Listen, there was this one time where we expecting a life or death fight. Matthew says he can hear them gears turning, walks into a random pub and starts throwing back drinks like he's lost his bloody mind. That does sound like someone who's lost his bloody mind. Back when I was on this ship, some sailors used to drink the barrel dry before battling whales to blunt their fear, or to stumble around on the deck and fall overboard. Yeah, the boss could knock it back like a whale. Still, the point is getting blasted right before a turf was not what most sane people do and call a good idea. Had us all crossed so we went stopping after him. And guess what? Turns out that pub was a secret hideout where the opposing syndicate was holed up. But crawling around the after, running their mouths about how they'll kill him and put an end to dead rabbits. That's when we came storming in and had them surrounded instead. Not a single one of them got away. Beat them bloody, every last bastard. The boss knew how it'd play out that way. Sorry, but this really sounds like Barcel bragging to me. You sure this wasn't coincidence? I should think it was no mere chance. If you are saying as much, then this would be but one of many such coincidences. Is that not so? Yeah, every time Matthew pulled off one of those stunts, our lot ended up growing bigger. Wouldn't have kept it working so neatly if it were just a coincidence. It is likely what is referred to as indeed an instinctive sense or experience-based precognition. More accurately, an unconscious process by which information accumulated in the subconscious sorted and converted into sensible conclusions. There have been some extremely rare cases in which Heathcliff has demonstrated the ability to arrive at coherent conclusions that surprise even Faust. On further analysis, it would appear that he was employing a mechanism similar to a sixth sense, as some people call it. Is that a compliment, or are you just taking the piss out of me? My mentor doesn't see it fit to explain each step he takes. When all has passed, I often find that no footfall of his was taken in vain. I'd ask if you grant him but a little time and wait. Keep waiting, and the shape of his intent may yet become clear. Though I confess, I've also been concerned about him as of late. His recent silence is far heavier than what I've noticed in the past. To wait. Don Quixote began, hesitated, and stopped herself from saying more. Joan gave a quiet nod. Yeah, okay. I suppose the teamwood has her own reasons for letting it be. That said, doesn't mean I'm happy about it. I'll just return to the task at hand and do what we can for now. Fine. As the others quieted down, I finally had the room to notice the place we found ourselves in. There wasn't a single ray of light, just a deep red hue pressing in from every side. Can't believe everyone had chatting away in the dark this whole time, fellas. The red lights aren't helping at all, especially on my aging eyes. Oh, are you looking for the light switch? It's right here. And right then, don't turn on the light. Read Marcel's clipped warning. His voice coming from a corner I didn't expect to find. Marcel? Where are you? Ah, there he is. That corner. Is he washing something? I'm developing the film roll, manager. Exposure to light might ruin the entire roll. Please exercise caution. So he's been doing his own thing. That explains why he was quiet all along. I didn't think you'd know how to print photographs, pal. What's that for, anyway? You expressed the wish to have the film developed, manager. I'm carrying out that instruction. I see. A photo studio first. Now a dark room. This may be no more than a conjecture, but would not be unreasonable to suppose that the access of this distortion rests upon a photographer. The film serial numbers either match those found in the photo studio or deviate by only a single digit. It is certain that this darkroom is connected to the studio in some way. The images bear a striking resemblance to these photographs. Possibly that this building and that photo studio share a strong connection. Oh? Where did you get these photos? I brought some from the photo studio. I cannot name the locations of the picture with certainty. They all appear to have been taken at various places in Encorp's district buildings. Buildings, mostly. Hey, wait. What these are? People take pictures like these when they're flying stuff to the department store. Correct. The photos must have been taken by a docugrapher. Marcel chimed in, holding up an odd cylindrical container in his hand this time. He get the container to shake every now and then with a measured rhythm. Whatever he was doing seemed to be part of the process of developing the film. Films are hardly affordable for the average resident in Encore. In most cases, taking photographs is done as part of professional duties. There are approximately 21 occupations in District 14 that utilize photography. However, only a single profession involves routinely photographing specific buildings, adhering to fixed standards that can be observed in these pictures. And these docugraphers you mentioned, are the people entrusted with that job? Yes. They photograph the information to be forwarded into canned experience. Docugrapher. How could a person of such a decently lucrative position fall into distortion? Decent job, maybe, but how do we know if they're a decent person? As I replied, the clerk had answered only after a brief pause. What makes you say that? The photo studio we were at didn't have any darkrooms, right? No, it didn't. The team leader said there are other ways of processing film rolls, but in N-Corp you have to go through a darkroom to develop and print them. Correct. Film rolls are usually immersed in developer solution to be processed. Which is why photo studios have these darkrooms equipped with red light safe lights right next to them. But this place, pretty far from the photo studio. Oh, yeah, now that you mention it. Check out these windows. All covered by newspapers, all messy like. If you consider how sensitive film rolls are to light, it's really suspicious. It's really super suspicious that this darkroom doesn't have any proper blackout panels. You know films can cost a fortune in some places in the city, right? Who in their right mind will print photos in a room patched up with yesterday's newspaper? Oh. This probably isn't even a legit darkroom. Someone just hauled in the bare minimum tools needed to develop film and threw them together in a hurry. Someone who didn't want to be seen printing photos. People don't usually avoid scrutiny unless they're doing something not so decent. If that's the case, then I can see why they might have distorted. Right? Manager. Marcel came to my side quietly, still giving the strange cylinder the occasional shake. I have a request regarding your instruction to develop this film roll. What is it? Please ensure that the light in this room has not turned on until the development is complete. Aren't we already doing that? Yes, however, engaging in battle opens the door to uncontrollable variables. This is why I've judged it necessary to make the separate request. Battle? There is no need for concern. I'm capable of participating in combat while maintaining the development process. Wait, can you slow down? Battle, we say? Sure, there must be cause for you to believe so. By the photo studio, reinforcements arrived at exactly 11 minutes and 34 seconds after Encor's pinframe team was defeated. Deductions based on the events thus far make it clear that the photo studio and this darkroom share some kind of connection. Furthermore, Senator Heathcliff, Senator Hongwu, and Senator Gregor have battled Encor's pinframe team in this very location. I have a feeling I know what Marcel's getting at, but I ask anyway. Meaning? Initial rent is finished. The process is now halfway to completion and the second agitation. This indicates that 11 minutes and 30 seconds have elapsed since the start of the development. The battle is imminent. Please withdraw to a safe position, Manager. So? You should have warned us way earlier. Understood, Manager. I'll follow that instruction going forward.
승부수가 먹혀들었군. 판세는 완벽히 우리에게 있었다. 정착지를 찾을 때까지 이 기세를 잃지 않기를.
He's funny in his own way. Something sits still with me. Amid the sprawl of Esco's back streets, distorted with the flash, Chengdu had her gaze fixed somewhere high overhead. And at the end of her gaze, are those photographs? A long line stretched across the open air, photographs hanging out like laundry clipped to the clothesline. I mistook it for a kumshu at first and gave it little attention. But upon closer look, I saw these pictures hanging from the line. Perhaps they have been strung within the darkroom and remained thus when the distortion took hold. Bizarre. Observation of unaffected elements in the space occupied by location to distortion is most irregular. Indeed, the items we borrowed from the studio of origin. The various sites of Escort. Yet these alone remain as they were. Let's take them down and check ourselves. Because I was wondering if the line was perhaps too high for me to reach, Marcel stepped up forward and plucked a few photos off of it. And the instant he brought them to me, I heard another pop. And again a bright white flash blinded my vision for a moment. Good grief. This distortion lets it change his mind, huh? It keeps switching between S-Corp and N-Corp. It feels like getting caught in a flashbang detonation. Light tenses up then goes slack right after. As soon as we're busy grumbling about the distortion, it sudden jumps, except for Marcel, who stood right in front of me with the photos still held out in his hand. Oh, he didn't drop them. No. He gave his usual short answer, then returned his attention to the facility he had been shaking. He took the film out of the container and flicked the liquid off it with clean, controlled motions. Is the processing finally done? Wait, we're back here with the lights on now. Is it okay to take the film out? Yes. Exposure to light will not damage the film once development is complete. The image is fixed. There's no cause for concern. That's a relief. Couldn't say I followed all the technical details, but no cause for concern was all I needed to hear. Sighing relief, I held up the photograph so I could take a proper look. So, see anything on there, Manager Bud? Yeah, there are people in them. The people in the photographs all look different from one another. Gotta pick one similarity between them though. They're all golden and different. Yeah, that's a city alright. Ordinary folks you see anywhere. These aren't like the photos we picked up at the studio earlier. Are these kind of photographs they used to make canned experiences? What was that? It seemed to ripple just now. Just about to ask Fowles if she also felt that strange sensation, but it faded away soon enough. Perhaps it's nothing serious. First mistake number 1. It was just a spill of random vertigo. Is it even possible to get dizzy with when I've got a clock for a head? No. Myself must have noticed that I was out of sorts for a moment. He seemed to pause on purpose. For answering my question. No, I thought you said docugraphers take these photos to put in canned experiences. Raw ingredients from canned experiences are handled exclusively by the Grand Magician Sisyphe. There's no known method for external parties to access them. Sisyphe? What? Oh, I think I've heard of it. Canned experiences, right? In high demand out of the districts too, but the only brand stamped on them is Grand Magician Sisyphe. Same name every time. I remember some of my classmates bragging about trying them whenever exam weeks came around. Never had one myself though. I will explain it, but something about them just feels kind of wrong. It's that popular, huh? The unprocessed base content of canned experience is known as experience pattern. It's applied to reprocessing factories. For docugraphers, fine-tune the experience details. Photographs are primarily used for that purpose. You can fine-tune experience? An easier example is for understanding would be considering why docugraphers take pictures such as buildings. The purchaser may wish to experience living in a luxurious building that they could never afford. Another may wish to vent out impulses of violence by experiencing the burning of expensive property. Demands for haute couture canned experience is increasing by the day. So that's why the photos from earlier were all fancy buildings. Yes, manager. Conversely, information concerning ordinary experience that can be easily encountered as the reality, and reality is in low demand. Then why photograph the residents at all? Perhaps these are not images harvested for their commodity value, but pure photography in and of itself. Mayhap they have been captured for a desire to seizing a vanishing instant through a lens. Now people will take photographs knowing what it would cost an exorbitant sum. I've seen some before. A staggering amount of money just to take a single photo. That is if they could have even managed to find a photographer who would take the risk and help take the picture. I'm not so crass as to put a price on sentiment and nostalgia, but spending this much money on film rolls, who could have made this investment worth it? I'd say maybe this is a matter of sentiments or memories even. Let's go, manager. I'm not exactly an authority on distortions, but I know they manifest through desires or emotions that become warped in bizarre ways. But everything distortion has shown us so far points us back to S-Corp. That is, the S-Corp from the past, and that only Kim and Angdu would have seen and remembered. These photos? I'm completely untouched by the distortion. Doesn't that feel off? I see a strong fixation at play here, strong enough to slip even past the distortion. But that obsession is something that refuses to let these memories be influenced. I think the next step should be to look for the people in the photos. These photographs are the only undistorted, unaltered clues we have. Dante said it would be advisable to locate people shown in these photographs. Ooh, good idea. Team leader did say we should accept the input from LCB with open arms. Hey, Angdu. Can you get me the office catalog? All we need to commission an office affiliated with the Seven Association. Not Jaehoon. Let's look for one that can actually take the request right away. Can someone tell me yes or we're fine? I think I know where to find those people. Dante says one of the people shown the photos I've already been found. What? When? How? Well, I guess I'm having a lucky day. Oh, there's that gut feeling they're having. I pulled the radio from my waist and switched it on without answering Ezra's question. DWRC? I think she said dual your group clock. That one was especially hard to understand, Ryoshu. Roja's with you, right? You can put her on? Okay. Roja, you there? Yeah, what? Danny wants to talk. One sec, I kinda went overboard with the bread and pastries. It's completely full over here. Pastries? What kind? It's just one of everything. Can you grab the extra brioche and baguettes for me? I love those from the street I love. Jeez. Oh, the ones from that street. So good. Oh, and I gotta reach at the bottle if I want to. Just throw them on TF. They're packaged. Yoshi, can't you fool like that, okay? Bakers have feelings too, you know. How do you think the baker would feel if they knew someone was treating their precious babies like trash? Scabbard is rattling again for no reason. Raya is actually in agreement. Anyway, Dante, can you give me a sec if I need to fight? And cram these into my pockets real quick. No, it's not a fight. Then what's this about? I took a closer look at the words written on the wicker basket in the first photograph Marcel brought me. Where is that bakery you're at? Now I see where this is going. Follow the paper trail. The paper trail on Butter Street. I know who you're looking for. Going to the bakery was a woman holding the same wicker basket as the one photograph. Took one glance at the picture I held up for her and gave a quick nod. This man, who was in Cannery 17, right next. He's a regular. He used to drop by every morning to buy sandwiches to share with his co-workers. I haven't seen him around lately though. And those co-workers, I assume they're wearing the same uniform. Asking a question on behalf, I'll just show the baker the another photograph. Probably. I was always wearing one too. I guess the cannery uniform. And from the latex, I have to imagine. A few inquiries at the cannery should bring us to this information we need. Yeah, you're right, but it's just that she doesn't seem very concerned at all. She's one of the people in the photos that weren't affected by the distortion, right? That should be a close acquaintance. Allow me to verify, Executive Manager. Do you know the name of this regular we spoke of? His name? Am I supposed to know that? I wasn't expecting to actually know his name. The empty, evident in her voice gave me pause. He took a photo of you. Wouldn't it be reasonable to assume that you were well acquainted with him? Oh, that. Because demeanor changed when I just pressed the point. There was a strange, unsettling smile before pulling something from her apron pocket. A thin and round, can-like object. He said he'd give me 5 of these can experience for free if I let him take my picture. He said he'd throw in the docugraph of the building of my choice. He docugraphs buildings, right? I hear he even takes work trips to the nest every now and then. That's him getting me a docugraph of this lovely mansion I saw by the nest suburbs. I know I'll never get to afford a beautiful place like that, but this way I could at least experience what it's like. Gosh, it was like everything I ever hoped for. I couldn't quite put my finger on it, but there was a distinct eeriness to that dreamy, blissful smile on the baker's faces, and it chilled down my spine. I can kind of see why. Young Marcel? Are these can experiences truly possessed of such marvels? To pluck all semblance of reason from one's countenance. They maintain high demand across the city. District 14 is just one of only several markets. Does that mean that those who indulge in can experiences may experience venturing on an expedition to the Great Lake? And bungee jumping off the summit of the skyscraper yonder as they remain seated as where they are? They may, however. Oh, a magic can, allowing one to pursue any dream the heart may conceive. Rarely, I confess, my own soul is much tempted. It differs from pursuing a dream. Mass-produced can experiences are made from base experience matter mixed with various modified information. The resulting end product enables intense stimulation to alter memory. Therefore, it's unlike a dream as expressed by Don Quixote. A piece of memory I find among the numerous processing stages of canneries production lines that is not equivalent to genuine experience. Meaning the usage of experience in her previous statement must also be amended. Memories altered for intense stimulation. That does sound quite shady. While considering how the anchor ideas were, the exposure to canned experiences might have actually been a nice little jolt for their inquisitions. What doth this cast as shade upon the boons granted by the can? Adventurous tales are forsooth inclined toward a little grandeur. Because the memories provided by can experiences are extremely vivid. Statistics have shown that use of cans to interpret them as authentic experiences and become dependent on them. A possible cause of the information of dependency patterns is the can experience to allow one to feel as if one has achieved a dream that is, in reality, impossible. Without implying that the users of the are made content with devouring forced dreams stored in instant use cans? Or still, the user may no longer strive to chase dreams in the waking world. But the sweeter and more splendidly the dream is embellished, the more impossible this will appear to be grasped with one's own hands. To become a cause for surrender, instead of inciting one to march forth, surely doth it not annul the significance of dreaming itself? The resultant dream rouseth not the spirit gallop toward it? Whether that annuls the significance I cannot know, but they sound well. Now I kind of think of like the BDs from Cyberpunk. I mean that's pretty much what it is. Brain dances, just in a can, whether it's like consumed just through like slathering out in your eyes or something else, or if there's another kind of like way of just using it. That does kind of give me a nice little question to have. Whether or not it is in the same vein as like BDs where you have something to just play them out and you can just experience it like as if you were already there. That's a different story. So, how much are you buying? By what? You came bargaining in with all these questions. Alan's patient enough to answer them politely, wasn't it? Don't you think you owe me a steal or two? You're not about to leave without buying a single loaf after crowding up my bakery and scaring off my customers, are you? The case was on point, actually. With our whole group gathered around, the passerbys gave us a weird berth and hurried on, whispering among themselves. Nobody's about to come in and buy bread like that. Come on, lady, I practically cleared your shelf already, didn't I? You did? Where the hell are you keeping all that then? Do you even gotta ask? Must have them all. Had some already, and the rest of the silver tucked in my coat pockets. I can share later. So you already ate some. Let's buy a little more. It's true though, it scared off the other customers. Understood. Given that the expenses made to facilitate this operation, the lack of prior budgeting should not pose a problem. Hey, what's good, Origin? What's good, Kyo? How go the matches? Legend of Warp? Legend of what? You died? Died from what? Oh, did you start running into the new units too? The totally not over on? Oh, nice. Sesame rice bun for me. Oh, sesame rice bun for me, please. But Kim really does have a knack for making an entrance at the least expected moments. Please get spam. Okay. Now I'll probably check when I get the chance. Probably gonna pick up on that later on in the morning, since of course I do need to rest a little bit after this kind of ordeal, but I have a feeling that you've been put through the ringer. Hey, mister, where have you been all this whole time? Wait. Be crossing me all you like, but just give me a moment. There's a pause. I got yes, I did. I just mostly sharded up though. I have plenty to really spend, so I should not only get that done, but I think I can also get that up type 4 too if I get, well, I think you actually managed that. So I didn't have to spend a single lunacy. I'm kind of like saving up for the next wall pickers because of reasons. Or forgetting to take a sesame rice bun from the baker's hands and chomp it into it. Alright, I'm ready. Don't wait the bread. As his angry fist drove straight into Kim's solar plexus. I don't know whether Project Moon's sole obsession with people getting punched in the solar plexus. It's been like a thing since Ruina. It's been a thing since Ruina. Punch to the solar plexus, kick to the solar plexus, this, that, and the other to the solar plexus, whatever the fuck. I feel like it's like it's like their whole my spleen joke from Invader Zim. I feel like this is like the whole spleen thing. Because realistically, who else says like solar plexus? Realistically. Usually like in boxing or any kind of combat sports, when people get hit in the stomach, it's just usually get hit in the stomach or gut. Never solar plexus. Yeah, for some reason they just love throwing this phrase around. I don't know, this is just something that just kind of, I can't help but just notice. After Zangief fist drove it straight into Kim's solar plexus, folding him to the ground like a crumpled sack of potatoes as he rolled away. At this rate, the owner might start charging us for the whole bakery next. Roof and all. Best get away from here. Manager. Marcel approached me as he walked down to the street, but Ezra and Kilm still squalled behind us. He was holding a roll of something brown until he coiled. The complete development of the film, or your instruction. Oh, so this is the film in the cancer you were shaking. Do I just enroll it? Both up against the sun or some other source of light. As it's a reversal film, the images should be visible as they were photographed. I had no idea what a reversal film meant, but it did as he asked, and I rolled the film. Okay, I can see it. Huh, this is pretty cool. Oh, it's showing. I see two. Move it over a bit. Let me have a look too. What team I use? Well, I'm kind of running a poise team so far. Mostly just like a hodgepodge of some blade lineage units that have leveled up at max. So Blade Sang, Merceau, but I also have Sync East Dawn and Sync Altus, along with Sync not Sync Sinclair, Renclair. I'm not like the most forward as far as like team building is concerned because of certain units being missing here and there, but I just throw whatever I can that seems to work. Is this the same person every shot? And the same pose in all of them too. Oh, you're right. Oh, wait a second. You know I'm there? The further along this should go, the lower it gets. Yeah, and the hill looks like it's turning to the right. Huh? You're all squinting up at the tiny frames in the film when Sinclair suddenly flinched and went stiff like he'd seen something he shouldn't have. A second later, all color drained out of his face. Sinclair? What's the matter? This reminds me of something I learned in school. You draw a picture in the corner of a stack of notes on a thick book. Exact same spot on every page. Start with the arms down, then you make one small change on each page and nudge the arms up higher and higher until they're raised all the way up. When you flip the pages fast enough, the drawings stop looking like separate images. The figure starts moving. That class is called Introduction to Motion Pictures. Remember the teacher saying that the video footage we all watching were all made the same way. Are you saying that this is a continuous sequence of still images? The arrangement of the frames suggests that this film is highly likely to constitute footage. A violation of NCORP's taboo. Oh no. So that's what. There's a good reason why they distorted. A taboo was broken. And now the gray men are after us. We have a bunch of G-men after us. Wait, that's it. Rupture. Poise. I think you probably get away with something. Yeah. But I'll probably get to the point when we get there. Phantom is maxed. Tier 4 and everything. Like I usually make it a very interesting. I make it a pejorative to have like Walpurgis units maxed. I think the only one that kind of falls short on that is like Dawn Claire, but everything else is just fair game. Though I should throw in
벌써요? 매뉴얼을 좀 더 꼼꼼히 읽고 가야... 네!
지휘를 받는 건 오랜만이네요.
나의 상대는 어디 있는가?
Oh crap. As soon as I registered Marcel's words, my hands reflexively threw the film to the ground. Are we gonna be okay? I was just broken a taboo. My mind began to race. I was driving back to the journey, specifically to the time when Don Quixote had smashed the window at K-Corp and caused the wind to wipe out our team multiple times over. I felt faint. At least we have Vergilius with us then, and it ended up not being that big of a deal at the end of the day, since I could provide a Sanders bus. Some nasty taboos can get us in serious trouble just for carrying anything that has to do with them, can't they? I would turn to the sinners, many of whom looked every bit as troubled as I felt. Still, a few of them expressed a casual lack of concern, citing all the crazy things we've gone through so far. Miss Faust, what happens if this magic, if the magic gets killed? Okay, so this is it, huh? Stop freaking out, guys. I'm not dying. We're fine. And there's nothing to kill you on the spot just for possessing a film roll. Really? Well, it might be a problem if the film roll does contain genuine recorded footage, but like you guys had a hand in filming it, right? When N-Corp dudes get here to pick it up, just comply with the commands, thank them for the service, and nicely hand it over to the authorities. And everything should be A-okay. There's a possibility that everything will not be okay. Huh? Because I have developed the contents of that film roll in that dark room. Oh. The court will take the lack of intentionality into consideration. However, it is very likely that my action will be deemed as aiding the primary violator of the taboo. Really? But... Team leader said that N-Corp has their own regulatory standards regarding image quality, which they use to determine the severity of the taboo violation. If the footage image quality or frame rate is within regulations, N-Corp won't be sicking their fixes on our butts right away. And that could buy us time or give our company some leverage to make a deal, however small it might be. Because what they're really sniffing out around for is how close to reality the video is, how close of an experience it provides to real life. So even if we're really unlucky and they actually come after us, it's gonna be fine as long as the footage is low fidelity, probably. So what exactly does frame rate within regulations entail? It means an interval between each frame shouldn't be like super brief. Think about it, photo slideshows. They can only show you one image every few seconds, but it doesn't feel real or vivid, right? You can technically call them motion pictures, but there's no vividness required to violate the taboo. Then, let us analyze this film roll and see how vivid it really is. Marcel, I trust you are not one subject considering N-Corp, yes? Cooperate. But this film will be considered a violation of the taboo. Let's pick the film on the ground and showed it to Marcel. That cannot be determined. Unless each frame is thoroughly analyzed and compared with adjacent without waiting for Marcel to finish, I'll remove the film and raise it against the sky. The rest of you, get over here. We must analyze these frames. The film canister was labeled experiment, but I assume the culprit had created this as a test run of sorts. Experiment to see how close it could get to violating a taboo, and testing the limits of the law. It may even be a mere collection of similar photographs that are pretending to be recorded footage. Sinners all gather around Addis and look toward the unrolled film in unison. Here, the flop out moves between frames, does it? The docugrapher couldn't have possibly moved the pot also while holding down the shutter button. I don't see any difference. See here? The expression risen on the subject's visage appears rather stiff. Maybe they're just a gloomy sort. Perhaps. They observe close that its difference arises not from gloom, but from strain to maintain it. Oh. If that's the case, maybe the subject is really trying to fake an actual footage by moving it very, very slowly. It's a pretty convincing theory, but I'm not sure that's enough to conclude that we're in the clear just yet. This one bamboo-headed Kim, who had just been sprawled on the ground ever since I had punched him, stepped into the conversation. Let's see. Look at that shadow cast on the windowsill. See how there's notably shifts between each frame? Whoever made this knows the graph for sure. But I can't imagine the Backstreet 12 would have them any way to mess with the sun's trajectory. And then the likely scenario must be the creator of this film will deliberately made its subject move very slowly from frame to frame, creating a series of disconnected photos that, when played sequentially, look like footage that violates a taboo. In which case, this film does not violate this taboo, correct? That's highly probable. So he says, Executive Manager, we should be in the clear for now, at least in regards to aiding the violation of wilderness taboo. If he was willing to go through this much trouble to test Encore's patience, it's hard to believe that he'd have stopped there. Based on all available evidence, Executive Manager, it seems reasonable to conclude that the inflection point of this taboo is a taboo violer on the run. Huh? What motive would they have to do that? Sure, working for a wing subsidiary has nothing on being an actual wing employee, but it's still pretty up there when it comes to careers available in the back streets. Work for a subsidiary long enough, and you might even be transferred to a factory job in the nest. That gives you a pretty okay chance at a better life, so maybe it's just tired of living that kind of life. Everyone has one of those days, don't they? So I'm feeling that you could be doing more than live the rest of your life in 9 to 5 hell, and drive to do something that takes you away from the pressure of trying to make a life. Jeez, Ishmael. You really do know where to dig the harpoon, don't you? Because my life is looking like that right about now. Only it's not 9 to 5, it's a 3 to 11:45. Very shift work. Something about what Ishmael said must have tickled Bamboo-Headed Kim because he suddenly looked around and toward her and shook his head. Maybe, but how many of those people do you think are capable of throwing away everything they built on a whim? What I've seen, maybe a couple just likes to play with fire. Play with fire? Yeah, must have started by doing something that technically doesn't count as taboo, and inched on until he brushed thrillingly close to one. One throwing shot to his camera, another was the next, until eventually he ended up recording actual footage. Cool, that leaves a question of what the heck was he trying to do with it. I'd have been trying to screen it using a projector for all of this part of the backstreets to see. What? But wouldn't that make everyone here, even those unwittingly come across the projection, right on? That'd make those folks violate the taboo. But why would anyone? So, would you care to explain how you know that, Mr. Breadbrain? Ask around on the opposite street, and apparently some guy's been going around asking the workshops if they'd make him a projector. It seemed like most of them turned him down, but they also said that he stopped showing up after a certain point. But I guess that he got his hands on a projector somehow. Last, it's not a taboo if you uncover to view recorded videos. Pray tell, why would anyone insane mind? Well, if it ain't taboo, and if you only made a projector in it, factory spokes are always down for anything as long as it's coin. So how do we track this guy down? Multiple individuals in the same garb and as a pinframe team have been identified in the vicinity. They're all carrying the same briefcase. Isn't that convenient? I can play this like a festival or a convention and just tell people who just look like they're involved with what we're looking for. Does it lead us to wherever we need to go? Indeed. Architecture conventions will be those informed pledge shirts and suspenders milling about. I could always trust him to lead me to the convention venue. Hey, whenever you see people in strange costumes heading to any kind of convention, you know you're being in the right place. It was common for those plastic fellas to look around like they're scanning the area. Did they also go around checking people against photographs? Now they're rid of each other. Like people like they're going at. Huh. Perhaps you got into the series of queries yourself. Nope, this crowd sure doesn't look like they're gonna let us follow them. Oh, we did kind of take out their own guys too, so it's a bit of a
누가 화났을 땐
tough
이렇게
situation.
숨소리도 내지 말고 숨어 있어야 해.
Alright, let's get to it. Because it's this defense.
죄를 새겨주겠소. 그 삶에 마침표를.
Yeah, you ain't doing shit, buddy.
차포잡이라. 예상한 것보다 움직임이 더 좋구나. 소 펀치!
Fire up.
저희를 헤아릴 수 없다면 그 용도를 고민하는 것이 상책이지.
Much.
시연합니다.
Nice.
対して大きな打撃を与えました。
와, 엄청난 공격이었어. 기념할 만한 걸.
Oh, that's thing do.
어릴 땐 몰랐어. 왜 엄마가 삼촌들이랑 말도 못 섞게 했는지. 그 외부 강사들 손가락 안에서도 내로라 하는 실력자들이었을 거야. 너희가 보여준 혹은 더 대단한 기술을 매번 엄마에게 가르쳐줬거든.
뺀다면 사활을 건다.
본인의 승리일세.
혈이 난자오.
Alright, raise it up.
망을 참아. 숨을 거두랴.
우와, 지금 완전 삼촌들이랑 공호대 같았어.
방금 전에는 굉장했다고. 베르게 그 인간도 이건 인정할걸?
You know, it was. Well, of course she was. Of course she will. She liked him big.
타겟 포착 1시간.
달빛이 밝다. 그 문까지 밝힌 나를 써.
너무 세게 맞은 건 아닙니까?
가만.
야,
Liked him really big.
안 들리나요?
그냥 5배!
I mean, that's actually why she's a whole star too.
어릴 땐 몰랐어. 왜 엄마가 삼촌들이랑 말도 못 섞게 했는지.
귀와 요격을
외부 강사가 이어졌다니. 손가락 안에서도 내로라는 실력자들이었어. 지금처럼 엄마와 함께 이곳저곳을 다니며
방망이 대신
많은
풍선
기억을
칼이
쌓아줘.
정답이에요.
언젠가 그 중에서
The
가장 멋진
overlap.
곳에
The
나를
overlap.
데려갈 수 있게.
승부수가 먹혀들었군. 판세는 완벽히 우리에게 있었다. 정착지를 찾을 때까지 이 기세를 잃지 않기를.
Oh yeah, that's a lot of milk. The milk truck has arrived. I don't know where that video even comes from too.
동부 싱크스
But for some reason that just comes to mind.
돈키호테.
Milk train has just arrived.
숨겨둔 수를 드러낸 모양이구나.
뺀다면 사활을 건다.
속 펀치!
열을 끊는다.
エリートオペレーター並みの腕前です。
저놈을 추적해.
어릴 땐 몰랐어.
Okay.
왜 엄마가 삼촌들이랑 말도 못 섞게 했는지. 그 외부 강사들 손가락 안에서도 내로라 하는 실력자들이었을 거야. 너희가 보여준 혹은 더 대단한 기술을 매번 엄마에게 가르쳐줬거든.
Pinning nail. Looks like nails are gonna be making a comeback soon.
시연합니다.
저놈을 추적해.
소리와 호흡을 멈추고
옳다.
Come on, try and hit me, stupid.
쟤 휘청거리고 있다.
시연합니다.
나 해야 할걸?
Go get him, Tiger.
숨을 거두리라.
우와, 지금 완전 삼촌들이랑 공호대 같았어.
깨달음을 얻으셨군.
모자를 쓰고 있는 혈기에겐 방망이 대신 풍선 칼이 정답이에요.
완벽한 거리.
와, 엄청난 공격이었어. 기념할 만한 걸. 그냥 5배.
필요하군.
선원들, 나를 보호해라.
Oh, backup's here.
이루어질 수 없는 희망, 추락해 흔적조차 남지 않은 희망들 모두 나의 바람이었듯이 적이 건넨 도움 또한 도움일 테지.
If mental X I kick in, so this looks like yet another to be continued situation.
조여목구를 달고 볼까?
너무 세게 맞은 것 아닙니까?
스트레스 날아가는 소리 안 들리나요?
이 작살엔 필살의 집념이 담겨 있지.
자세에 틀림은 없다.
敵は深手を負っています。
타겟 포착 1시 반. 흉터의 결과요. 그 삶의 마침표를.
완벽한 한방, 시원한 걸.
Alright, you're as good as dead. Goodbye, buddy.
시연합니다.
I already knew you.
달빛이
엄마는 무기라면
검의
뭐든
길에
잘 다뤘어.
한 걸음
지금처럼
가까이.
엄마와 함께 이곳저곳을 다니며 많은 기억을 쌓아줘. 언젠가 그 중에서 가장 멋진 곳에 나를 데려갈 수 있게.
승부수가 먹혀들었군. 판세는 완벽히 우리에게 있었다. 정착지를 찾을 때까지 이 기세를 잃지 않기를.
Alright, I'll be right back. Just gonna get a little bit of water. Maybe just a nice little way to pick me up. And, at some point I may actually just wrap things up for tonight. Maybe this might be my last note and then we can move on. So, be right back soon. Alright, I'm back. Let's get to it. I mean, we're almost there. This is almost at the final stretch, if anything. But I'm not gonna push it because I was feeling a little bit tired. You'll probably notice how I kind of lagged a little bit, so... Oh. Throwing support. Someone changed it recently. This is out the way. God. Mook Workshop.
바람이 닳고 비에 씻겨도 검결은 흐려지지 않았으니 본대로 맡은 바를 다할 뿐. LCD 부서 현장 추리팀 소속 이스마엘, 의뢰하신 바에 따라 뒤틀린 포획 시작하겠습니다.
Yeah, that really is a good weapon, if anything. It is kind of funny, really putting into perspective that Ishmael has really gone throughout the East Asian circuit at this point. Chinese, Japanese, twice. Now Korean. It's only a matter of time. It is legit only a matter of time. Oh, let me do one other thing. OSIR. Now let's get you up to tier 4 and then we can actually move on with our lives. Alright, I guess that's a little bit too short-lived. Wait. Oh, hey. Hey, what's good, Apollo? How's everybody doing? Hope you had a wonderful time with the stream. I believe, let me see. So far I'm getting my second win back. I was feeling a little bit tired, but I think I now have a bit more energy in order to power on through. But I hope your tabletop session went pretty well. I think I've seen on Blue Sky that you have an OC for that as well. But I am Otsdarva, the Jester of Nihility, all that good stuff. I'm too tired in order to make my spiel, but forgive me. The Deviat. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, Deviat does have a pretty cool aesthetic when you kind of really look at what they have, so it does make for some fun things to kind of come around with. But hey, if you're also tired or also got some stuff to take care of, by all means, don't feel pressure to stick around, but if you want to stick around for the long haul either way, then you're more than welcome to. But what was like today's session as far as like the tabletop is concerned? What was like the main quote-unquote episode of the night? Let's see. Let me borrow. I need more. I need more power. I could probably throw 150. Get Ishmael juiced up at least. So now I have a sword of my own. A sword that is unwavering. I'll admit, I kind of like this CG a lot. There's something cute about it. I just can't really put my mind to it, but it just looks very adorable to me. And I should also probably throw that into my supports just in case if anybody needs it. Oh, speaking of which, if anybody is actually interested in just having me on their friends list, I can throw this into the mix just for everybody to kind of chime in. We'll go from there. Now let's continue. We have some worthless things to cut.
착수.
Part of the challenge. What a what? What a what? What a wood. My brain is just fried, isn't it? What a what? Or I just don't really care anymore. I think that might be one of the two things. What a waste of time. Ugh, well, at least they're not much of a fighter on 101. Service the closest non-combat specialized departments. Well, they have all the underground basic combat training for exigent circumstances. And not prepared for head-on conflicts such as this. Yeah, I noticed. They kept taking pictures of us with their briefcases. I'm guessing that's their primary job description. Why are they snapping away for then? Surrounded by us like a load of creeps. collected photos to include into the report. The higher-ups, I'd wager. I can see how they could think we're involved in this somehow. Every time they follow the lead, they end up encountering us. It's always a surprising rationale. Marcel stood a footstep away from the rest of the sinners and watched in silence as they tried to come up with an explanation. What is he thinking? What is it that he wishes to say? Or is he simply contemplating? Observe without any preconceived notions in his mind? Sounds like it shouldn't have been any different from his usual reticence. But as though by some chance or whim. Hey, Marcel. I was struck by the sensitive brief yet distinct strangeness I was compelled to speak with him. Yes, manager. Don't hesitate to let me know if there's something you want to say, but aren't sure if you're supposed to say it. Yes, manager. I will do as you ordered should. I will do as you ordered should one such circumstance occur. Yeah, I think this is cue for me to just actually go to sleep. Part 3, babe, part 3. As always, his reply was deflatingly concise and direct, as though he had some rule of his own that told him that this was a specific response for situations like these. I mean, after reading the book itself, I can kind of see why such a direct and concise answers. He's one for brevity, that's one thing for sure. But it's another thing to really put into perspective that any time spent outside the sun's rays and heat is a godsend to him. Okay, but I'm talking about right now, actually. Do you have anything to say right now? No, I do not. It did not appear to me that he was trying to hide anything or choosing his words in response to my question. His reply was simply that, an answer, nothing more. Yes, a prepared answer written down in a list of responses. That's what it felt like to me. As though this particular answer had always been the one and only thing he had available for a situation like these. Clearly, prodding him for answers wasn't going to get me anywhere, so... With a curt "sure, if you say so," I turned away from him and took off to join the other sinners. As I did, a few words lingered at the tip of my proverbial tongue, asking it to be let out. So I did. Would have been nice to know what you were looking at. Of that. He spoke. I cannot inform a judgment. What? That is because the precise definition of the nature of the subject of my gaze are just as unknown to me as to you. Should you point to an object or an enemy, I can provide a verbal explanation based on my current knowledge. If you require such information, please rephrase the question accordingly. Had I asked him again, had I tried to get to the bottom of that line of questioning, could I have found myself in the smallest beacon of Marcel's psyche, to remain entirely shrouded in mystery even after an entire year traveling together? Well, I suppose that's not enough to me to judge as well. Manager. Yeah? Another battle imminent. As you have previously instructed, I have informed you of an imminent battle. Yo, boss, Glock? You're just gonna sit here all day do all the fighting? Pointing at that building over there. So I must have really been on their way to that building. My path ahead seems clear, as I could imagine. I just neutralize those foe and head up there. You gotcha. Be right there. Ooh, that's pretty gaudy looking. Bloody hell, them blokes he fought downstairs must have been weaker than the weak ones of the bunch. How does N Corp have so many guys on the payroll? There's no end to them. It is a wing after all. Are these taboo violators? I thought the culprit worked alone. No, I'm quite certain they're the ones from the subsequent reports. and Fixes appeared just as confused as we were. It was clear to me that they were expecting to find a taboo violator here, not a group of a dozen people or so. What were they thinking, sending fodder like this to deal with an organized taboo violation? Should have sent the taboo hunters in here instead. Why do you think they told us the soon can experience containing mass melee combat? I must have thought our current manpower would suffice to deal with this. I don't know about that. Wait, wasn't there an extra report? That one of them's all of a sudden, with a click, the room began to buzz with a metallic whir of some kind of machinery. And immediately I could tell what it was. Distortion. Standing in the middle of the shabby room was a device I wasn't sure I had seen before. The exterior was plastered with strange shapes that looked similar to what we saw in the Chunokun's faces in our earlier battles, making it difficult to grasp its full shape. The round object affixed to it began to rotate slowly with the dull, worn-out groan of a thing past its prime. Men, shield your eyes! The woman began to emit a faint ray of light, but it thundered in a commanding voice. We turned away as well, making sure not to catch a single glimpse of it. The device could be playing a recorded video, Executive Manager. Giving a brief look at it could constitute a taboo violation. Now, this actually does play a very interesting question as to why motion pictures, especially older motion pictures, are considered taboo by the head of all things. I know during Distortion Detective, Yuri was pretty much the reason why Moses lost an arm, because she took a recording of a particular district. So, yeah. There must have been something as to why it has led to that point. Shit. I saw that. I'm so finished. As panic began creeping into the voices of several unlucky individuals. Are we going to jail? No. We're gonna get died. We're gonna get died. Because we committed a taboo. Well, they committed a taboo. Or even then, you might even, if you're lucky, you might be just heading to super jail. Not jail. Super jail. Why are you happy about that? Oh man. Folks, is starting to get a little embarrassing. A sleepy voice breaks through the darkness past my metaphorically speaking shut eyes. Mentor? Eyes opening, dude. What's wrong, everyone? Got dust in your eyes? What the hell's wrong with you? Don't you know that anyone who watches even a split second of recorded video and encode gets? Of course I know, but I watch it anyway. Open your eyes to see him, fellows. This motion picture isn't recorded. Hang on, he's right. My face not a recording. Possibly emboldened by Kim's comment, or even perhaps believing that seeing the video could be excused as incidental exposure incurred while subduing violators, the Encode employees also opened their eyes and began to mutter amongst themselves. Want to be sentenced for life? I mean, larceny's a thing. Fraud and a few other things. Anything that doesn't involve any loss or harm to life. Is that thing talking to us? I finally allowed myself a good look at the machine, which was firing a conical beam of light against the side of the wall. And this was his message, delivered via the white words on the black background. So you tracked me down this far. After what I went through to take refuge in here, they still ended up finding this place. All of you blindly consuming fake experience after fake experience without even a care about the real thing. Case number TC3224. You're under suspicion of Category 3 violation. How's the Intervallo? It's been pretty... Here's the funny thing. It doesn't even feel like an Intervallo. It really just feels like another Kanto. With how long it actually is. It's like densely packed even without like the voice acting. It's just a lot. Like 9.5 like before felt like an Intervallo. A very quick aside, even if it does have like some big beats to it too. But I'm starting to notice very quickly that these intervals are practically going to be bigger stories themselves too, because of like different characters they can throw in. And different elements we might be exploring too along the way. And especially since this is a setup to Kanto 10, there is a good feeling that they want to make these as meaty as possible so they have no stone left to be unturned. Reveal yourself now and forfeit your illegal recordings. Should you comply, we will. What is fluid but witless buffoonery in the absence of fools? The hollow vessel, bereft of all but lingering delusions, grant not even a brawl of echo to the dogged excoriation of tools. Wouldn't be surprised considering PM's budget. Yeah, I'll probably have to attribute it to like the Arknights collab pretty much being the main juice that really shot up to their veins. Considering how many people probably just spend a crap ton of money in order to get those egos. Guilty! Very, very guilty. I only managed to get I managed to get like two of the three on the banner. Man the Scabbard and Command. I didn't get hung loose, so that's a lost cause. But was I really ready to spend that much money? Then yeah. I did get the announcer though, that's the other thing too. I made sure to get that. That's the one thing I never want to miss out on. But going back to this, I was just getting bombarded with like SAT words, man. I thought I was gonna get away from SAT. But here I am, just running into it again. What the fuck is excoriation? Bro. What's this fella on about? If we remain to obstruct our official duties, we won't hesitate to use force. Without even so much as turning around, Bamboo-headed Kim raised his sword and parried away the uncovered employee nail-shaped weapon. I'm only speaking as my whim guides me, my dear fellows. No need to get so huffy. So much for Kelsey if I wanted to get a fluid sack. Yeah. I mean, fluid sack is just like undeniable to this day. And it's like every single time that there is like a head ego, nothing just really cuts the same kind of cloth. But I feel like the way that the other ones that she has are much more specialized for different roles as opposed to how general purpose fluid sack is. It's just simple. Just have a gloom team, or just have a team that can actually generate gloom and just go to town. Just feed into fluid sack as much as possible. You can never go wrong. Though the Recalgia does have its purpose, especially when it comes to like poise teams. Command with its rupture and also shielding capabilities as well. Lots of fun stuff you can actually throw into the mix. I think Art of Blossom Star is also a very recent support ego too for Burn. I only aim to say this abomination has no consciousness. After what I went through to take refuge in here, I still ended up finding this place. All of you blind consuming fake experience after fake experience without even a care about the real thing. It's being the same sentence over and over. Now that does make me wonder, was I just as far gone when I distorted past all words and reason? God, the more that I think and even just get like read into my head how he sounds, I just still keep on thinking about Raven from Tales of Vesperia. He almost matches him to a T if I do say so myself. Like if this game ever had an English dub, which I highly doubt, I would not be surprised if the voice actor for Raven would be a good fit for him no matter what. Same kind of aloof personality and so on. I mean, if anyone has to answer that question, it'd be you folks, right? Kim said nothing more. He turned a piercing look on us, while effortlessly swatting away the incorporated poison. Look at this aura farming motherfucker right here. This beautiful specimen of a man that's also lazy as shit. As always goading us into telling the truth, and telling him the truth. Well, don't suppose there's any point in asking. I'm no different from this abomination. Just as weird as that contraption, I must have wielded the only thing that I've really known. The blade. Transforming into a mindless fiend consumed by a mere tool, cleaving through both friend and foe unrestrained. Hey, Junior, are you still on about that? I tried to avert my eyes, I truly did. But such disregard is easier said than done. How can I, when that distorted being has no qualms showing me the... Doesn't he know it's rude, the unsolicited reflecting of the fathoms of one's heart is? That's gotta be illegal or something. Illegal, I say! Turning a customer into a thug on a protection racket, a mere ant before a car in motion into a swerving driver, conjuring dead foes before their eyes of their mentor. Simply unconscionable. You would tell us, some might say. My poor heart almost burst out of my chest courtesy of you. In a split second, I think I saw Marcel's eyebrow twitch. The battle's imminent, manager. Just his natural response to sensing an imminent battle, perhaps? That has to be a very annoying noise of just constantly getting flashbanged every single time. A blinding flash, followed by an explosive bang. My vision immediately went white and decided to take his damn time coming back. Oh yeah, they're very frustrated. And when it did, the first thing came to view was a particular unsettling landscape of Escort. Followed by a bamboo headed came surrounded by a small area of Chuon crew. Mentor! Keep that up and you'll shut me deaf, Angdu. It isn't about time I grew accustomed to such sights. Mentor, still do I wake from this dream's drenched in cold sweat. It might bind and drag you away. This isn't so bad. Just these folks so far. Like earlier when... What was that? Everything went dark. I understand. What's happening? But first things first. We have to neutralize everyone here and get back our mission back on track. Adjusting projection. I've been straying far and wandering all day for the exact reason, and that was its mechanism. Faust? The words began to shiver rapidly before I had a chance to ask Faust what she meant. Honestly, either way, they do the English dub after Limbus is in total release, or two, they purposely leave it un-English dub for others to make their own dub. I feel like that might be the case somewhere. I remember like early on to the game's lifespan, some people did actually try to do an English dub of Limbus Company, but then the whole other situation kind of kicked up and kind of dissuaded them from continuing any further. I doubt they ever went back to it since Valmori kind of left the team. That said, I do hope that people do actually take a crack at it one way or another. It would be fun to see some people get back to that. But it was a very rough and confusing point in time. But thanks to some people that have been keeping a good track of like what those detractors were trying to do and pretty much flipped it on their head, things did kind of get back into a small spot. If you want more context on that, there's a video by Suno that will give you much better information than what I could ever really muster, but I remember just seeing it all happen. The kind of divide and schism that happened, all because of that incident. Frankly, that would have been the thing that would have tanked the company if that was left unabated too. Or didn't play the cards right. At the moment, yes. The quote-unquote beach episode incident. To the one who finds comfort settling in lies, I give you what you deserve, what you most deserve your gaze. Oh, I'll be blind before the day's over at this rate. It changed. It did? Oh, at this early instance, one's distortion is different from the others. As my son identified, there was something different about the group of Chuonkun this time. They were accompanied by someone else. A warrior in impressive armor wielding a sword that was just as tall. The armor. And a great Huando of the South Circle. To be reunited in such a manner. Huh? The warrior drew a bow that hung from the waist guard and knocked an arrow. I suppose this is how it would have gone down had you been the one to grab me. Military Commissioner in Gyeonggi. How do you fare, friend? At the signal of the arrows loosing, seize the accused. The warrior loosened a knocked arrow which soared in the sky with a piercing whistle. With that air-splitting sound as a cue, the Chuonkun began to swarm us. Well, I guess we're gonna have to unmask these, pursuers.
이거 화났을
Oh.
땐 이렇게 숨소리도 내지 말고
Oh boy.
숨어있어야 해.
Now let's see what your passes are. As zero stack retreat and transition into a different location, we return to the battlefield based on current battlefield homeland. Gain or lose number of spinning retreats. So play the homeland south stack. Bear hunt. Tiger Hunt. Skill-based power ship based on stack. Max stack is 9. A bear hunt. Mountains of Escorts District 19 are home to all manner of beasts. Amongst them, the bear in particular boasts strength and force into the boulders falling from the cliff in a landslide. Giving ground to the creature's charges ill-advised, one must aim to hew it down with the first slash of his blade. Tigers are cunning and ferocious. One cannot hope to cut through the tiger's flesh with a single stroke. On Villain's fury, their chain slashes and no wonder the Gentiles failed at last. Though to do so, the tiger will escape death. Or bless his opponent to one day grow into a Sangoon, a ward of the mountain. Whether these beings will bring auspicious fortune upon men or return as malevolent calamity is impossible to tell. Good lord. These are beefy. Hold up. Eastern horse trade armors are not so much equipped as they are piloted. Escorts Duzhong Brigandine is one example of such armor. Martial Barber's powered armor suit, the full plate armor used by the Knights of the West. The Duzhong Brigandine greatly augments the user's offensive and defensive capabilities. Yet these advantages do not mean the armors of such potency are readily supplied for counter personnel. Each unit has its own unique controls and comes with limitations of requiring separate fuels. What remains certain, however, is that, as with all the aforementioned armors, once a rider is familiarized with itself, the Duzhong Brigandine extended reach and heightened power output, because a machine of war that strides across battlefields with the promise of slaughter. So battlefield on Homeland every 3 turns. So in Homeland Escobar's traditional art of swordsmanship is divided into 3 branches: Sao, Pi, and Pipio. The teachings exist. Within their teachings exist techniques to hew and cleave through creatures of colossal stature such as Sangoons. They formed them in full, so it must wield a great Hondo capable of bearing the strain of his techniques. Salpipio. There are those who persevere in training for lack of talent, and those who are blessed with talent only to let it rust. All men say that the title of Apex Blade can only be seized by the gifted, and it matters not until the day comes for this blade of mine to rise high enough to meet the clouds. I shall persevere in holding my prowess. Ready for a fight then. So it's a defensive exclusive skill.
포착. 1시 방향.
Shit. Oh, yeah, that's on the team too.
오, 기운이 솟는다, 단테. 가서 빨리 때려 눕히자고.
That's Pipe Breaker. Yeah, her skill 3 does have a really high chance of just winning shit.
완벽한 거리다. 이 결투.
그 삶의 마침표를.
タンタさんの作戦、とても効果的でした。
Shit.
向こうにも事情があるのでしょう。ですが、私たちは止まれません。
We just need to keep bringing that down.
타겟 포착. 1시 방향. 이어 오른편의 길에 한 걸음 더 가까이.
변수가 이어졌다면
This is pretty good so far. Alright, good.
나이스! 하나 제꼈다.
벤다 사활을 건
귀화 요격 함수 정리화
too. Mamori!
エリートオペレーター並みの腕前です。
검문
와, 엄청난 공격이었어. 기념할 만한 걸.
시연합니다.
본인의 승리일세.
소리와 호흡을 멈추고
This thing has some high defense.
숨을 거두리라.
차포잡이라. 예상한 것보다 움직임이 더 좋구나.
아까 방망이 맞고 의무실로 간 혈들이 괜찮다고 되시나요?
죄를 새겨주겠어.
그렇다더라. 그런데 너
달빛이
진짜 새방망이야? 그럴 리가. 손방망이에요. 해결사가 혈귀를 때려잡는
I
어트릭스
know, it's a different front altogether.
어버이의 자비와 포용력을 상징하는 것 아니겠습니까?
어버이의 은혜로운 해결사 타임으로 이름 바꿀까요?
Wait, how many stacks of Azure? 14. Yeah, I can let it rip. Can always count on that.
모든 업은 다시 돌아와. 네 머리 위에 내려질 것이다. 그냥 5배!
한순간 반짝이는 틈새를 베어
자세에 틀림은 없군.
틈이 생겼군. 메울 건가?
이용하는 것이 상책이겠지만
누군이라면 메웠을 거다.
그래. 부상자를 챙기지.
Wait, let me see the passage changed.
검은
Paralysis.
아직 벼려 있어.
Okay, I think I got a gist of it.
귀와 요격! 균형 상수! 당장!
유효하군.
It's aiming straight for me, if anything. He falls away. I mean, he probably donated just as a good cause. Just so people would stop playing tic-tac-toe on their forehead. So it's a kind gesture at the end of the day.
시연합니다.
Oh no. That's 2 for 2.
네 상대는 나야. 속 펀치.
Here comes some more of them. Let's keep going.
타겟 포착 1시간. 참살.
적의 팔다리를 끊었군.
이제 전력으로 쳐라.
타겟 포착 1시간.
Just a little bit.
움직임이 어설퍼요.
달빛이 밝다. 그 문까지 발진단을
지금 완전 사촌들이랑 공원에 같았어.
방금 전에는 굉장했다고. 베르겔 그 인간도 이건 인정할걸? 조여먹구를 달고 볼까?
요료슈쿠! 엄마가 만반잘구는 싫다고 해서 내가 만들어준 인사말이야. 요슈니까 요료슈쿠!
발광 차단. 귀와 요격. 균형 감수. 당근. 오, 머리 좋다 단테. 방금 완전 좋았어.
You're gonna have to give it eventually.
입수. 베어 떨구는 거. 목표하시길.
해결사가 혈기를 때려잡는 어트랙션이 있어도 되는 거야?
어버이의 자비와 포용력을 상징하는 것 아니겠습니까?
어버이의 은혜로운 해결사 타임으로 이름을 볼까요? 한심해.
조여먹구를 달고 볼까? 마무리! 작은 물감.
어린이 친구? 물결은 어트랙션의 반이 금지.
The effect will off too.
나무와 함께 베어 넘겨드리죠.
Just a lot more. I think I'm able to smash the damn thing to smithereens, but yeah, but it's real hard to focus on one thing with the huge warriors zapping in and out of reality as soon as we make ourselves an opening. It'd make our lives a lot easier if we could just get rid of one of them. They'll seem to be taking a toll on the sinners more so than usual. When they were up against an insurmountable foe, not even close. Not to mention how Edessa and Engdu were here to help us out. Shit, haven't they had enough? About time to give up, innit? Boy, do I go like that again? Big sword carrying fellow sure is kicking our butts. I don't know if they're the key to solving this distortion. Big exactly flush with options, are we? Max is blocked and we ain't like we can stop mid-fight to strategize. The battlefield constantly shifting and flashbanging in between N-Corp and S-Corp, we simply did not have the breathing room to focus on either projector or incoming EOP. It was swinging that great blade with frightening force. Besides, and do cover his back too. It shall be done. N-Corp was sending far too many people against us. And with that many at first, but it seemed like the suspect employee casualties in the area so close to the nest had allowed N-Corp to our location. How did we get out of this? House? Riders? Let me out here. I sat back in my brain trying to navigate the situation I know little about. And several ancestors with more experience in the field. First, I need to know if there's any way we can deal with the endless reinforcement N-Corp was sending after us. And second, we'll defend the incoming EOP either or destroy the projector, bringing an end to the distortion phenomena. If you may speak freely, Executive Manager, it sounds like that present force will be sufficient to overcome this current rate of enemy reinforcements. Not only is the Alpha situated in close proximity to the enemy stronghold, but there's an unpredictable variable that is that strange machine that is making neutralizing even a single wave of enemies difficult. I got to be the bearer of bad news, but we are trapped in a battlefield with but a single exit, which the enemies have already blocked. Without reinforcements of our own, there's little hope of prevailing through this current predicament. Yeah, it seems in many ways me too. Maybe we can neutralize the distortion phenomena at least. Faust recommends entering the Dungeon of Fathoms as our exit. Dungeon of Fathoms? How can I enter if we can't even talk to distortion? Wait. Maybe. Bring the LCD regular check back at LCE. It says all you have to do is read what's on the note in front of this distortion. That's some kind of code. Right. Keywords. This needs to be location type distortion, which means regardless of where the bright light and bright flashes take us, incorporate the twisted caricature of S-Corp, we're still within its range. In other words, with the right keywords, I can summon an entrance to this Dungeon of Fathoms from anywhere within it. Okay, so what are the keywords for distortion then? I want to provide us the necessary keywords for distortion back then, but this time we had to figure it out on our own. First things first, one of them has to be photograph. The entire phenomenon, if I may perhaps, experience maybe one of them. Using Boo's 2 cents, having briefly retreated from the battle to the back lines. There's an undercurrent of obsession with experiences staining his every trail. Must have in relation to what has caused the distortion. Experience, concept alone lacks substance. Must be something more grounded, something that's once synonymous with experience while maintaining a through line to N-Corp's technology that was the core of his obsession. Can experience? Most likely. Thanks, Faust. Alright then. Photograph, can experience. Not seen to transfer as of yet. Didn't, but I could feel it. This kind of photographs he used to make can experience? So that's what the strange sensation was. Mentioning that word shook the distortion caused the rippling effect. But it was clearly not enough for the force to open the Dungeon of Fathoms. How many other keywords could there be? Scraps. Sorry? Oh, I thought we were taking turns sharing what might have caused them to distort. And going by the way you folks have been saying your piece one after another, I thought this was some sort of Zen riddle. Not a Zen riddle, no, but where did scraps come from? See, when enjoying the benefit of slacking off at work, all kinds of mundanities come to possess far more interesting qualities. Sometimes even revealing secrets invisible to eyes focus elsewhere. Take a person of interest to it. He has been poking around this area of town with an eye-wateringly expensive camera in tow. So conspicuously, every store owner had a product for the information that tales to tell about it. Each tale added another facet to the long saga of once driven man, a man with a can-do attitude. an uncanny ability to pull himself up by his own bootstraps and a clear path toward the nest residence. He became so bewitched by photography that he eventually squandered his fortune on what was indeed the end. In the end, nothing more than a pastime. And that went on until he found himself reduced to a pauper, barely making rent on a scrap heap of an apartment. In pursuit of his ideality, the man has lost grip of fortune and reality. He sought out his apartment and found a few scraps of his writing. The cold rain drops to the roof, when mold and tepid humidity together encroach from the earth. The mind begins to wander, lost. Eventually, madness evoked in a form indistinguishable from drunkenness. Harper loses himself. Shadow darkened at night. The shadow darkened at night had seen Kim's feet creep beneath the shade of his eyes. No, he's seen it once in the past. It would be more accurate to say that he'd heard it in his voice that echoed in his fathoms, stirred by guilt and regret. Perhaps I shouldn't be surprised by the fact that distortion has among the countless people here taking a particular interest in the band by Kim. Photograph, can experience, and scraps. Considering a final piece of the puzzle, the space of force momentarily warped and flashed. What happened to the distortion's fathoms? Well then, we'll be right behind you as if they're magic. Mrs. Ra, this is what I seen then. Able to one's fathoms. This is it, huh? Neat stuff. Before she could finish, as I had to redirect the focus from our discussion back to the battle. Both sands were caught in the same predicament. I managed to disengage from the battle and prepare to enter the dungeon fathoms behind Wu, working on several others would be taken with N-Corp employees. I'm not gonna allow it. They're not gonna fall us right in if we run now, alright? Probably. Even those who aren't chained to Dante like we are controlled to the pathways when it's open, so... Yeah, let's not drive ourselves into an even narrow corner. I'll keep them at bay. During that, bamboo-headed Kim stepped up. My sword arm's not what it once was, but it should be enough for this. Besides, I have a little wish to set foot in some ill-omened place and be tangled in such a bizarre mess. That way he thinks. There's something in his eyes that led me to believe that this was more about than just staying behind to protect their rear. He was... WTF. Huh? What a terrible front. At least try to pretend to be sincere to make it easy for us to believe you. Did you think the terrible excuse is going to fly? What are you trying to avoid, Sword Swinger? That's some kid trying to get out of doing his homework. I remember hearing that entering a dungeon of fathoms will bring one to the spiritual fathoms of the distortion is gazing into. And what lies within must be my very own. That is what that abomination is gazing into. Decided then. You're coming with us. We ain't about to walk in blind to this with a shit about me. Got us in there, yeah? No, that's... keeps it simple. Try that too. Learn the hard way that homework, like summer reading, doesn't go away just because you don't look at it. It's still there. Then the summer break comes to an end, remaining the last day of vacation into an all-nighter. Right, it's just scary if I read cheerfully in agreement. Stop procrastinating. Go do your summer reading. What was it you said? Face the homework, save the GPA. Face the sin, save the ego. It is, after all, the attitude the company expects of its employees. Go, Junior. You guys, too, LCB. I can handle them all on my own. You will make a lone stand? Hey, who the heck do you think I am? I'll show you why Team Leader Moses felt safe sending me out along with you guys. It was basically a monster of the week situation with the team leader and me back in the duo days. I can handle it on my own, no problem. No problemo. I see how you guys handle the inflection point, but I guess I can never really have it all. Ah, well, I guess I have to trust our two OSIR team newbies to handle that. Now that I think about it, I think I'm setting a pretty solid Limbus team senior, aren't I? I don't like this, but it seems I have no chance but in matter as long as the employee hangs from my chest. With a sigh, Kim shook his head and joined us, dragging his feet all the while. I shall take Vanguard. Ah, Mentor, be warned that the inches is floating. Take a tall step over it or you may trip. I can clearly see that I can do. Bring me a light if you're that really worried. Why don't you? Have you need of one? Give me a jest. Don't worry.
지금처럼 엄마와 함께 이곳저곳을 다니며 많은 기억을 쌓아줘. 언젠가 그 중에서 가장 멋진 곳에 나를 데려갈 수 있게.
승부수가 먹혀들었군. 판세는 완벽히 우리에게 있었다. 정착지를 찾을 때까지
Okay, I'm gonna
이
wrap it up
기세를
here.
잃지 않기를.
Gonna clean up. And that's all for me. Y'all be good, y'all be safe. I'm gonna cut things short and sweet, but take care. And get plenty of rest too. I know I do.